here we go for another edition of Jofo in the Ring. And yes, my name is Frank Jofo, and we have a special broadcast. We have a double champion. We have the Torture Chamber Pro Wrestling Cruiserweight Champion and the AIWF International Champion. What an honor it is to have Paolo Triassi here in studio. What's going on, Paolo?
Frank Jofo, you said it best. What an honor it is to have Paolo Triassi in your studio.
I'm sure everybody tells you that when you come into the store, when you come into a restaurant, you come into their house. What an honor it is to have a double champion in their presence here today.
I'm almost getting fed up of hearing it, but it still sounds so sweet, eh? The double champion.
Well, as a champion, you know what? I have to say, you brought us a couple of gifts here. Some bottles of wine that Selecta Brew is going to be opening up for us here, so we could taste these exquisite wines here from the Alps of these grapes that we have here. But I want to thank you very much for being here in studio.
I've always shown good manners. You never come empty-handed.
That's for sure. You came in with the titles. You came bearing gifts. You're already in our good graces here tonight. But let's start from the beginning. For me, it was October 30th, 2022, Torture Chamber Pro Wrestling, where we saw our first event ever, me and Selecta Brew. We walked in, and it was a match between Jonny Taco and Paolo Triassi. Now, this was the first time we've ever gone to see you live, and what an honor it was to see you live, because that was the beginning of when I looked at Bruno and I go, who the hell is Paolo Triassi? And ever since then, I've been the biggest fan, as everyone here can see. Tell us how the journey started for you, Paolo, how it all became to be a double champion today.
Well, you talk about that day in October of 2022, but let's just back it up just a little bit. So, during pandemic, all the shows stopped, restrictions, no shows. Finally, no more restrictions. Torture Chamber's finally ready to start rolling with shows again. All right, great. Dru calls me up, says, all right, we have our first show in October. I got you up against Jonny Taco. My first reaction is, Johnny who? It's like, Jonny Taco. I'm like, Jonny Taco. I'm like, all right. I guess young kid wants to make a name for himself.
Yeah.
Get in the ring with me. I get it. No problem. But let me ask you a question, Frank. You're a grown man.
Yes.
I'm a grown man. How do you take someone who comes out wearing a taco on his head?
Yeah.
Serious? How?
That's what I still don't understand.
I don't get it. And people cheer for this guy. I don't get it.
He had the sling and everything.
Any place he goes, people cheer for him. Yeah. I don't understand it. I will never understand it.
Well, that's what it is. Now it comes down to it. Like maybe they feel bad for it. Maybe that's what it comes down to. But continue with the story, because that match there, it did happen.
A week before the match, Dru calls me up. We got some bad news. Taco dislocated his shoulder. The match might have to be called off. I'm like, are you serious? This guy finally realized who he's going up against, and now he wants to back out.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. I get to the show, and they say, no, the match is still on. I'm like, no, is this guy serious? He thinks he could beat me with two good shoulders, and now he thinks he could beat me with one good shoulder. I took it as an insult.
Yeah.
We get in the ring. The ref gives him one final chance to forfeit. That's it. Just walk out.
You wanted to be a hero.
You wanted to be a hero. You said it.
That's what it comes down to. These guys that try to be a hero and try to make a name off your back. And then we all know what happened after that. It started, and like where I was going with it started, in my opinion, probably the number one rivalry in Montreal and independent wrestling in Quebec was the Jonny Taco versus Paolo Triassi saga, because that was just and getting to that point where that happened, I'm like, okay, this guy is for real, Paolo. Doesn't give a shit. You wanted to wrestle, Jonny didn't want to, and then took advantage of the shoulder, which anybody would do. Thank you very much. Here you go.
And he had a legit dislocated shoulder, but he still wanted to wrestle. So, you know what? I'll give him some credit for that.
Salute to the champion.
Cheers, Frank.
Double champion.
Double champion.
Double champion.
Double
Cheers
champion.
to you, Bruno.
Bruno, my friend.
Salute.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful. So where I was going with this is that, Mike, after we get into the truck and we're like, who the hell is this guy Paolo? He took his shoulder. That move that you did you just ripped his shoulder apart after. And I'm like, I want to see, and this is it's important. I want to see where this goes now. They have to be fighting again. What is going to happen at the next event? The next event comes, and if I'm not mistaken, I think he had a match that he needed a tag team partner, and Yane Harrison was injured.
So that too, you talk about the Johnny Taco feud and how, in your opinion, is one of the best feuds in Quebec that year. I mean, it all happened by chance. Whether, he dislocated his shoulder a couple weeks before the match. And even that was supposed to be like a one-off. We're supposed to have that one match. I beat him. That was it.
Yeah.
The next show, going into the venue, I had nothing to do with Johnny Taco. So I had an open challenge that night, which happened to be against Bret Del Russo.
Bret Del Russo,
It was his first match that night against me. And after that, I was going to be done. Easy night, quick match. And Taco had to team up with Yane Harrison, and Yane legit got hurt, I think, the night before.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, Taco's in a tag match. We need a partner.
Right out of left field.
All right, I'll do it.
And then the music hit.
And being the competitor that I am, though I've already competed that night.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't even realize that. But I decided to not take the rest of the night off, compete again, and be Johnny Taco's partner. And let's see where this goes. And I mean, you can watch the tapes. I tried to help him. But then I remembered, you try and go in the ring with me with one shoulder? You try and insult me like that? That's an insult, Frank.
I don't blame you.
So did he think actually I was going to tag myself in and help him win the match?
No. And then we go to the next match. The next match is Tio Merrick versus Johnny Taco. And all of a sudden, your music hits. And this is another question that even Brandon, the referee, has asked me. Does Paolo Triassi have his papers to be a certified referee? And I told Brandon that you told me you did. So can you confirm to the viewers out here and to Brandon, because he is the head of the referee syndicate in Montreal, that you have your papers to be a referee?
Frank, I'm many things, but a liar I am not. If I tell you I'm a certified referee, I am a certified referee. And that night, I had every right to be in that ring. I was certified. I was official. And I called it down the middle.
You did. And I remember you even injured yourself too in that match as well.
You're telling me. That was an injury. I got some crazy cramp out of nowhere. I mean, it happens. Stuff happens all the time. It's a live show. I'm sorry it had to happen that way. But then Johnny couldn't accept it. He got in my face, thought I was doing it to make him lose the match. And Frank, you watch wrestling. You don't get in the official's face.
No. That's the one thing you don't. You don't.
He happened to stumble over, got the pin, lost. And that's the way it happened. Not my fault.
Unbelievable. And to that point, it just goes on and on and on.
And for those of you that still doubt, you remember TOW?
Yes.
TOW Sylvain Grenier Fed?
Yes.
Go back, watch the episodes that were on RDS. And look who's reffing a lot of those matches, Frank. Do your research.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yours truly was reffing on TOW, on RDS.
Sylvain Grenier on the show.
You could ask Sylvain Grenier himself.
Wow, I did not know that. See, you learn a lot of things here when you have some great guests like Paolo Triassi here. So going into that, it just to goes to show that rivalry there was was my favorite rivalry. How do you picture yourself? Like, is the rivalry done? That's what I want to say. Is the rivalry done with Johnny Taco? Will there ever be a title shot for him? Will there ever be, another match with Johnny Taco, even though he doesn't even deserve it?
I mean, look, if he wants a title shot, if Torture Chamber management thinks he deserves a title shot, I'm open to defend against anybody. I mean, to be honest, I enjoy beating Johnny Taco. Like, I don't mind getting in the ring with Johnny Taco.
Watching you beat up Johnny Taco, that's for sure.
You come in, you have your stupid fans cheering for you because you're wearing a taco hat. Like, I take pride in beating up someone like that. Come on. I would beat up Johnny Taco every Sunday. So, Johnny, if you're listening and you want a shot at the Commonwealth Cruiserweight Championship, anytime.
Well, there you have it, Johnny. At your own will, Johnny. Let's go back to, I don't know if your whole career before that, you were a heel, but you were one of the better heels that I know of right now in the last 2-3 years. Do you like being a heel, or is that just like, is that you being you, or are you? I know you're not playing a character here. This is Paolo Triassi.
I don't even know why people call me like a heel or a bad guy. Like, I think I'm a pretty nice guy.
You are.
I mean, could jealousy play a role? Like, are people jealous that, I don't know, they can't perform like I do? They don't look the way I do. They don't have the gold that I have, the money I have. Well, I don't know what it is, Frank. People say, oh, why they boo you? They don't like you. Is that a character? I'm just being myself. I'm out there competing, entertaining, showing that I am one of the best, if not the best, cruiserweight in Quebec wrestling right now. And if you don't like it, well, I'm sorry. I can't do anything about that. Just sit down and listen and pay attention.
Unbelievable.
That's all. You paid a ticket to come watch me. You don't like it? Get up and leave.
So speaking about TOW and Silver and Grenade, how did that all come about? Like, that's something I didn't even know about you, Paulo. So to enlighten myself and the fans about your journey at TOW with the Silver and Grenade.
Well, it's like that only came after. I first started wrestling professionally in 2007.
Okay.
I walked in the Torture Chamber Pro Wrestling Dojo. A friend of mine told me, look, anywhere to train, number one place, you got to go see this guy, Dru Onyx. And that's how it started. So this was January 2007. I contacted Dru Onyx and he told me, sure, you could come to classes. It was like Monday night, Tuesday nights. And I walked in there. This was 2007. And like since then, Dru, he is the best professional wrestling trainer that I know. I've seen a lot. I've been to others. He is by far the best.
Did you know Dru was like in the NWA before fighting in Japan and in the UK as well before that?
I did some research on him, because a friend told me about him.
Okay.
And so before going, obviously you do some research on this guy and you see how much he accomplished even in a short period of time. Like he only started wrestling in 99. So this was 2004. So like in 5 years, he already, he's been to Japan.
Yeah.
He's been to the New Japan Dojo.
Yeah.
He's had TNA tryouts.
Made a name for himself out there.
In
That's
such a short period of time. He's won, it was the Quebec Championship, like so many titles, NWA Commonwealth Championship. I'm like, this guy is the real deal. He's legit. And I went to his school. And what I liked most about his school is that it had like that old school ruggedness to it. Like it was called Torture Chamber for a reason. And it was kind of like when you read those old biographies of wrestlers, like, who went to like the Vern Gagne school.
Yeah.
Or,
with just Hart, the mat there. And
just the mat. Yeah. Like there was no ring in the school.
Yeah.
Like, he had a ring, but it wasn't always set up. So like it was literally mats on the cement floor. And it was like that. They almost want to like demoralize you, like beat you down physically.
Yeah.
And like more, like they want to break you down, your like emotions, your psychology, to a point where it's like they don't even want you to come back. Because if you do come back the week after, it's like, okay, this guy wants it.
Yeah.
This guy took the beating, he did the training, you brought him to his limit, but he came back. And that's what I liked about it, because it's exactly what I used to read in all those wrestling biographies. It's like, okay, this is what it's like. They want to see if you have what it takes. Because most guys will go there and...
Because nobody's forcing you to go, right?
No one's forcing you to go.
He's not like, okay, you have to come back tomorrow, right?
It wasn't like that. It's almost as if they don't want you to come back. They wanted to like test you, like, oh no, this guy doesn't have what it takes. So like when you show up the week after, you're like, okay, no, this guy wants to be here. And at the time, like all the students that were there, like it was all sharks. They're all sharks. Some are still involved in wrestling today. Some have stopped wrestling, but
you see them still in the industry.
Yeah, like in that initial class in 2007, like guys that were there were guys like Matthew St. Jacques.
Okay,
was Stu Corvus, Antonio Corsi, Shane Hawk was there. So I was in the class with those guys.
Okay, wow.
So these are guys,
You've been around for...
Yeah, I've been
you're
around.
a veteran in this game then.
I just want to make one thing clear. I've started wrestling in 2007. It's almost 17 years ago. For other reasons, on and off, personal reasons, other things going on, I have committed 100% wrestling starting in 2022, really. 2 years ago, when I said, this is it. Now it's time to stop messing around, give my 100%. And look what I did in 2 short years, Frank.
That's
in 2 short years.
So just imagine if you were,
If I was 100% committed from back then.
I've seen you on TV
Oh
for
my
sure,
God.
110%.
100%.
Speaking about TV, you went to the wrestling school for a reason. So there must have been a wrestling, like you must have loved wrestling when you were a kid. Who were some of the wrestlers that made you want to become a professional wrestler?
The first person I ever saw on television that really caught my eye, I remember I was just flipping through channels. I was maybe 5, 6 years old on a Saturday night.
Saturday night or Saturday morning there.
Yeah. And it was Randy Savage. I remember seeing this guy. He was at that night, he was wearing like a black and white flared like suit at the time. Like, who is this guy? What is this guy? You know? And then, like the way he would speak and move. I'm like, so like Randy Savage was the first person to ever catch my eye. And that year, I think it was 92, WrestleMania 8 was the first pay-per-view I ever watched on television.
Okay.
And he won the championship against Ric Flair. And it was like, wow, this is amazing. And then from then on, like I was hooked and I couldn't stop watching.
So
that was
so I know you're one of one, but you're the way you portray yourself now, like you said, you're going all in from 2022. You've been all in. Who do you see yourself portraying right now from 2022? Who's the guy that masks you right now as Paolo Triassi, as that number one heel in the company right now? Who do you portray right now?
It's look, the best characters in wrestling are yourself amplified. And I think Steve Austin's famous for saying that, right?
Yes.
It's like you could try and be someone else. You could try and play a character. For some people, that works when you just take what's in you on a day-to-day. But when you're in front of an audience, you just put the volume at 10. That's the one. That's the one that people could feel. And that's the one that they could connect to. Because at the end of the day, because you said it too, yes, it's about great matches, great performance, athletics, but people want to feel connected to a character.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
That's what you can relate to.
And that's why you watch movies, for the actors, for the characters. You want to feel you can relate to them and you feel like it's real. If you feel like it's too forced, it doesn't feel real, well, then you're going to stop watching like, this is phony. You're going to... That's
well said. That's well said.
You're going to lose interest in that. So, but, to answer your question a bit more, like in the ring style, like I've always looked up to guys like Randy Savage and, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels. I would study their matches over and over, like rewatch their matches, not only with themselves, but like with others,
Who you with? You were a Bret Hart guy or a Shawn Michaels guy?
51% Bret Hart guy. Always a bit more Bret Hart guy, Definitely.
The showstopper. But that's the thing. It's that debate because those were the guys. Like
those were the guys.
In that era and we were talking about Sexy Eddie. Sexy Eddie was front row at Survivor Series in Montreal if you ever watch it back, he was with one of those big like clown hats, and you could literally spot him. If you watch it now, you'll spot him right away. And even him, he's like, fuck. And everyone, even as a Canadian, everyone will say, has to be Bret Hart. But I know guys like Bruno. Bruno will say Shawn Michaels.
Oh, look at the magazine front and center. that's the biggest moment.
Yeah, but I was a Bret Hart guy, and I could it's that debate will go on forever, man. Yeah. But it's that era there.
But whether you are Bret Hart, you can't argue like bolder, like even like Shawn Michaels. Like
yes, you can't exactly
in the ring. Like, has that guy ever had a bad match?
No. That's why he was called Mr. WrestleMania, the showstopper, the show stealer. It just goes on and on and on.
Then Bret Hart, you can watch his matches now 20 years later, and they're still so crisp. Like they're still so you can still study them and learn from them now.
But the ultimate is someone that is able to take the technical skills of Bret Hart and the showmanship of Shawn Michaels. I think that we call that the Triassi effect, the Paolo Triassi effect.
That's a smart. See the man behind the camera is the guy who actually puts it all together. Yeah. The brains behind the operation. And that's why he speaks like that. That's why he knows what he's saying.
So the last year you had a great rivalry with Victor Castella. Speak to us about Victor Castella, because that too, not to take away from the rivalry you had with Johnny Taco, but just to say that what I liked is that you were going higher and higher. Now I go, wow, okay, no. So now I go, when is he gonna go for a title? I go, he needs that gold around his waist, and I go, but fuck, Victor hasn't lost in 5 from at that time. He didn't lose in 400 or 500 days. I know it was a 700 day reign that he had after you beat him, but when they told you were going to go after, when you wanted to go after Victor, What were you telling yourself? Like, fuck, this guy hasn't lost in over a year and a half. Now I gotta have to take the title away from this guy. It's gonna be hard.
Yeah, look, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be honest. Victor was the measuring bar. He was what you measure yourself against, you know? And I've been in the ring with a lot of people over the years, and I'll put it out there. He is the best I've ever been in the ring with.
Wow.
He really is. He is an artist in that ring. You can't take that away from him. Like, everything he does is crisp. He's another one of those guys where you could watch all his matches and you'll never say, oh, that was a shit match, Victor.
Yeah.
No, all his matches are...
That's for sure.
Like, like almost like 5-star. Like, they're up there. And being in the ring with him too. But then it comes a point where it's like, okay, well, what is next, right?
Yeah.
I had the Rivalry of the Year.
Yeah.
I'm, gaining popularity, whether people like me or not. People want to see me.
Yeah.
It's time to win a championship, right?
Yes. Yes.
And that season, if you remember, we opened up the season. The main event was myself against Victor for the Commonwealth Championship in the main event. He beat me that night. Maybe I took him a bit too lightly.
Yeah.
But then things got a bit, sticky, and I heard about a little injury he was having, shoulder, back area, and
so those are the things that
you hear, right?
Keep you're on the ground, and
exactly.
It's that's what you have to give yourself props for that, because it's not like everybody knew that, and you had that extra edge on him as the challenger.
I had some contacts backstage who were saying, look, maybe he has to go back to Spain to get a little surgery done. All right. And it just happened that, I took advantage of that, and it was at the end of the show, and he got involved in my business a bit, and Dru happened to be there. Some folding chairs were there, and some folding chairs met the back, met the shoulder, and bye-bye Victor for a couple of months. But, championships are meant to be defended. And Torture Chamber didn't want to remove the championship from him. They didn't want to vacate the belt. All right, I had the belt. Someone had to defend that championship.
Yeah.
If anything, they should thank me that I kept this championship relevant.
No Victor, thank you or nothing. When you had the title. Wow.
Every chance they got, they're trying to convince me.
They even wanted to take the title away from you.
They did before Pandemonium. They made me give it back, or else they were going to cancel the match.
Disgusting. I couldn't believe that one.
So again, it's one of those things, kind of like the Johnny Talco rivalry, where it kind of happened by chance. It was never planned out. It was never like, oh, okay, well, this season we're going to go with this rivalry. Okay, you and you.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about those two rivalries I had with Johnny Talco and with Victor Castella, was that it happened organically.
Yeah.
It happened by fluke. It happened like, okay, let's try something. We saw the reaction. We heard the reaction. And it just happened so naturally. So, he was injured, legit. Championship had to be defended. All right, I want to be champion.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Speaking about reaction, though, man, you get the best reaction every time you come out. And I've been a heel announcer for a couple of shows for Jacques Rougeau's Lit Academy as a ring announcer. And a lot of people have told me I've gotten some big boos too. And I go, you haven't heard the boos that Paolo Triassi gets at Torture Chamber. And I just want to know, how do you go about that? Like, I mean, sometimes, like, not that it gets to me, like, personally, but a lot of people come to me and like Frank, I hope it doesn't piss you off or make you depressed. I go, no, it's okay. I sleep good at night, but I go, how does it feel to get booed that much every single show you're at Torture Chamber?
Look, you pay your $20 to get in. The beauty about pro wrestling is you get to come in, cheer who you want, boo who you want. You don't like me? That's on you. It's a reflection of you.
Yeah.
That's saying something about you.
Yeah.
What do I have that you don't have that you're missing? That's why you boo me.
Yeah.
That's why you boo anybody, right? So no, it doesn't bother me. I'm there to do a job. I'm there to perform, to entertain, to compete. And that's what I'm there to do. You want to boo
win
me?
championships too. I think you're doing a very good job of that too right now.
If I could evoke that reaction, that's what I want. I'd rather come out to building full of booze than coming out to hearing, crickets.
Well, that means you're doing your job. That means you're doing your job, and you're doing it very good, as we could see here. Let's talk about that match with Victor Castella, Pandemonium 2, because that was probably the best match on the card. When I saw that match, I go, okay, Paulo has to. If Paulo doesn't win this match, I don't think he's going to be able to get that title shot again. He has to come out as the winner in this match. Falls count anywhere, I go, it's already against him already.
Yeah.
Then you have against you. Speaking about that, then you have this weirdo that was in the stands that was holding up a sign. But did you?
Can you believe
remember
that?
This guy?
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm still looking for. I'm still looking to see
booing is one thing, but then you want to bring a sign that says Paolo sucks.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
That's one thing, and I didn't see it from where I was standing. I didn't see it. If I would have known where this guy was, I would have went to go confront him myself. But that's a disgraceful.
This guy looked. First of all, he looked like a homeless guy. Like he probably didn't. I don't know how he got money to come in.
Snuck in or something.
He probably had to steal like money from his mom's purse to buy that poster. And then he writes Paolo sucks on it.
Out of all things.
If it would his last $5, he decided to make a poster about me.
Yeah.
Thank you, whoever you are. Thank you very much. Bring the sign again. I'll rip it again.
Yeah.
And don't get too close to me next time either, all right?
That's the thing. You got a little too close, I think. I thought you were going to give him a slap or two there, but...
or a chair shot. I don't know.
Yeah. But let's talk about that match. The crowning achievement of Paolo Triassi in my eyes, that was the match that put you over the hump. And it was a great match. False count anywhere. Speak us into that match, because I know you tried to go. You went after their shoulder big time, and you knew what you were doing.
Strategy, right? It's like any hockey game, football game. You know, if there's a weakness on the other team, you'll take advantage of it, right?
Yeah.
If you got a weakness, even if you're like semi-injured, maybe shouldn't be competing, but they clear you to compete, whoever you're competing against, well, if they know, why not take advantage of it? Of course, right? So you think you could still defend the championship? You don't want to relinquish it? Let's do it. And let's just say it was his idea to have a false count anywhere match. Go back, listen to his promos.
Yeah.
He said, no more running away, Paolo.
No more running, no more hiding.
No more hiding.
Yeah.
False count anywhere.
It's like you knew exactly what you were doing. You knew you hooked, line, and sinkered him into that match, knowing what was going to... Wow, man.
I mean, it brought me so much joy to give him a back suplex on that table. Oh, man. When I heard his shoulder hit that table, he's done. He's done. I know he's done. And I was waiting for him to make that one mistake. I know he likes to go up on the ropes. I've wrestled him a bunch of times. I've seen his matches. All right, you could go on the rope once, twice. Eventually, I'll catch you. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
I caught him. He nailed his shoulder one more time, and I took advantage. And finally, after 17 years wrestling, I win the big one.
The combination of everything. It was just such a great moment, man. And honestly, man, like, congratulations again. And I'm sure it's not going to be the last time you win a championship in Torture Chamber. Maybe there's a chance you can go for the heavyweight championship, maybe the British Commonwealth Championship in the future. Wilson Colas is the champion. You never know. What do you have to say about that?
I mean, I'll be up for it. Wilson, anytime, any day. I mean, they got that rule about the whole weight class and all that, but I mean, there's ways around all the rules, right?
There's a lot of ways around it, yeah. I'm sure.
I mean, champion versus champion match, why not? So, I mean, anything could happen.
Have you ever faced Wilson before in the past?
No, never faced Wilson before in the past. I faced his partner, Mustafa. Actually defended the Cruiserweight Championship against him in Sept-Îles in August.
Okay, wow.
We had a great match, a big arena show, and I ended up coming out on top there. But hey, one day, why not? Whether it's for the championship or not, I would love to get in the ring of Wilson. I mean, excellent performer, Wilson.
Is there somebody in Torture Chamber you would ever tag with in Torture Chamber?
Never tag with. Probably have to be Bjorg. I mean, he's big, he's strong. He's a former champion himself. I like his attitude. Yeah, he's a good guy to have around. Big guy to have around. Why not?
I'm still a little bit distraught about him not being with Shane Pinto anymore. And Pinto, I'm a big fan of. I'm sure you're a big fan of Shane Pinto. Maybe one day we could see Shane Pinto as your manager. Maybe one day that'd be the worlds colliding. Like, I don't think I'd be able to sleep at night knowing that would happen.
I love Shane. Really, like I've even told him before, he is the best manager right now in Quebec wrestling.
Hands down.
He is just naturally talented. It's kind of like one of those things when you asked about, character. It's kind of like what you see is what you get. Like he just amplifies that when he's in front of people, and it comes so naturally to him. He's like a natural performer. Like he deserves all like the recognition he's getting right now. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if in the short or medium future, you'd see this guy on TV somewhere.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, I would not be surprised. He's one of those guys where, like, if you can name like 5 people that you would see on television, like in the next 5 years, he's definitely on that list of people you would see on television. That's for sure.
But that's one guy that he knows his worth. He knows what he's doing in the ring, and he amplifies. Like I said, that 2022, that first year when we went, he was manager of Bjorg, and I always said, and I love Bjorg, and I've told him this before, and he's agreed. He elevated Bjorg to that level of the main event, that championship, and what maybe put the torture chamber brass to say, you know what, maybe we have to put Bjorg in the main event picture here for the title. And look what happened. He ended up becoming the British Commonwealth champion. He beat Dru Onyx. Dru Onyx beat Finn Balor. He beat Ken Anderson. He's been guys that are in WWE and AEW right now for that title. And Bjorg beat him for that title in the main event. And he had a good run with it too, Bjorg. So it just goes to show maybe having that manager, and not to say you need it because you didn't need it to win these titles here, but just to say Shane Pinto put a lot of like emphasis on Bjorg to make him be who he is.
He had a lot to do with that, I would say.
And then you saw Bjorg in the next season didn't have Shane Pinto with him, you know.
And look what happened.
And look what happened. No title shots, nothing, and it just goes to show. But
so maybe like Bjorg would need me as a partner more than I need Bjorg as a partner. Is that what you're trying to say?
There you go. Unless Shane Pinto's involved, then that's a different story.
Maybe we could get Shane Pinto involved.
You follow WWE and AEW now? You watch it?
WWE, yes, when I can, definitely, especially the big events like Survivor Series that just happened. AEW, I'll catch some highlights or something big happens.
Okay. Are you who you looking at when you're watching WWE right now? Who's the guys that like I gotta see if this guy's on TV tonight?
It's always like to see like, you know, who's the most entertaining, who's the most captivating, even in the ring. Like my favorites to watch, I find like right now are always like guys like Finn Balor.
Yeah.
Like when he's in there, it's like even him, he's one of those guys like can't have a bad match.
No.
He's in there and you could tell he's in control of everything. He's so good at what he does. And I'm happy to see that he's there and still, you know, going strong. Guys like Sami Zayn I like to watch. There's, you know, obviously I know like Roman Reigns for the last few years has been amazing. The whole like storyline there.
Are you OG bloodline or are you a Solo Sikoa bloodline?
No, OG bloodline. Yeah. There's I mean like Randy Orton too, like what he's doing like at his, you know, his age now, doing for so long, and like he comes back stronger than ever all the time. It's amazing.
And for his age, he looks like he's getting younger and younger. Like such I don't know, maybe it's the Orton genes there, but yeah, he's in excellent shape, man. Do you think Kevin Owens is gonna pull it off against Cody Rhodes at I've been telling everybody on Twitter, I've been getting into like these little spats with people, and I honestly think the way they've been building Kevin Owens, if they don't make him beat Cody Rhodes, it'd be like an unservice to him. What's next for him? Like, you know, Cody Rhodes will go on to the next feud and everything, but what's next for Kevin Owens if that doesn't happen? And with the promos he does and everything, Kevin Owens, he already called out Sami Zayn and everything, and I could see Kevin Owens winning the WWE Undisputed title against Cody Rhodes, and I don't think that'll be liked from like a lot of people in there.
Maybe that's why they would do it. Like, because maybe it's not even like expected, right? Like, it's not a big PLE. It's a Saturday night main event.
But they have to have something that happens,
right?
Yeah,
exactly. And what I find like WWE lately, like they kind of always do that when you least expect it.
Yes.
That's when they actually been doing things. You
They'll pull the trigger on.
It's kind of like that, you know, when the CM Punk came back last year. It's like pay-per-view was over. They were going off the air and they brought him in.
Well, I don't know if you remember when Kevin Owens, he faced, it was Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Big Cass for the Universal title when Finn Balor won it and he got hurt.
Yeah.
Finn Balor had to relinquish it because he fucked up his shoulder. So they had the 4-way. And everyone's like, okay, it's got to be either Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns. Lo and behold, that match comes and Triple H comes in, interferes, pedigrees Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins gives him the 1, 2, 3. Now it's Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens in the ring. Now you think, okay, Triple H is going to help his former friend and corporation guy, whatever, Seth Rollins, gives him the pedigree and tells Kevin Owens to pin him 1, 2, 3.
That was his first.
That was his first
right?
his championship. So I could see that happening. Not in that, retrospect.
I haven't given much thought to it, but now that you mention it, and the fact that it would be such a surprise, and the fact that maybe people like wouldn't expect it to happen, and it's like, okay, now I gotta watch every event because you never know.
You never know.
Everyone expects Cody to end up losing it at like a big event, like maybe like this year WrestleMania.
Because you see Cody lately, nothing's actually happened with him. Lately.
No, okay, he's having good defenses.
He's just steady now.
Steady,
like steady until like maybe Royal Rumble or WrestleMania.
Exactly.
But it's like
everyone's waiting for something to happen,
but nothing is like spicing me up here. And I'm like, the only thing that's getting me excited here is this Kevin Owens thing. And then the first time he faced them, they said, and this is when they were friends, they said, oh, there's I don't deserve the title shot. And Cody's like, yes, you do. Now he deserves it. And now I think he even deserves to even go over. And maybe it'd be good for WWE too. Maybe Cody Rhodes is, because a lot of people say, and this is not even on to you because you are a champion here. Some people say that it's better to chase the title than to have the title. So Cody Rhodes, I think he's in that realm right now that he's better off chasing the title. So maybe him losing the title would benefit him in the long run if that's the case. But
yeah, I could see that.
But even
it's always that that sympathy for the champion. And the chase is better than actually like getting it.
Yeah.
And so I could definitely see that, and maybe people wanting him to win it back before WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, exactly. And then that same night, Finn Balor's facing Gunther.
That's true.
Finn Balor could fucking pull it off against Gunther.
That's true.
And then face Damian Priest down the line for a title and even lose it to Damian Priest.
That makes sense because the feud is there, right?
Give him his flowers. It all makes sense. So a lot of big time things happening in the future
that's a good point.
For that. But just going back on it, I would describe you. No one from WWE. I'd probably describe you as the MJF of Quebec wrestling.
all right. I'll take that as a compliment. That's for sure.
Thank you. You wrestle. You're a fucking unbelievable wrestler, and your mic skills are on par with anybody here in Quebec. And to go back to your mic skills, that time when you had the Paulo Appreciation Day or night or whatever.
Wasn't that a great day? Come on.
Is there a venue set for 2025? Is that Paulo Appreciation?
I think it has to be done every year. Anybody in Torture Chamber that's around, it has to be.
It's like a holiday now.
It's officially, I have the official date here on record via the Jofo Wondering YouTube channel. The new national holiday is officially March 3rd.
Okay, so
March 3rd. That was the first annual, so the second annual will be March 3rd, 2025.
Talk to us about that whole thing with getting the whole picture and everything, and because we know it, but just for the fans and everything to know the whole.
Well, there was a time that I was running around with the championship, official, non-official, not official champion.
Well, it was in your possession, so you were in my
possession, right?
Yeah, you were the champion.
And it was like I brought the idea to Dru. I go, no one's ever really done this. I'm like, I think one way to make it official, to acknowledge this, to appreciate this, is to have a Paolo Triassi Appreciation Day, just a bunch of festivities, fireworks, balloons, musical performances. I gave almost 100. It was 100 free of charge, and then people say I'm not a nice guy. Free of charge.
Unbelievable, man.
I gave that to all the first row. A picture of myself winning the championship, and. It's a shame because we only scratched the surface that day. We were just getting started with the celebrations,
and someone had to.
And then Victor decided to come back. He came back. He interrupted me. Then I thought, okay, maybe he just wants to be part of the festivities. I don't blame him. Everyone wants to be part of the festivities that day. I would want to be part of it, right?
Yeah. It was an honor even just being there. Trust me. I should have paid we should have paid a premium just for
That's
those
what
tickets.
I said. They should have doubled the ticket prices
at least. But hey, it is what it is.
I get this beautiful, I think it was 3 feet by 5 feet.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
And so Victor comes in, and then he's telling me in the ring, okay, I just want to look at the picture. I'm like, all right, he wants a closer look. Again, I don't blame him. Who would want a closer look at the picture, right?
The scroll.
And then he goes and smacks it on my head.
Yeah.
I still got a scar over here from that. Right
really?
Over here. From that poster, like that board being broken over my head.
Those things are not cheap either, eh?
No, they're not cheap. Even the photography session, all that wasn't cheap. That all came out of my expense right there. And, he ruined that day. That's why there's no doubt there has to be a second edition. Do it properly from beginning to end. Paolo Triassi Appreciation Day. I love that.
That has to be an annual tradition, I think. What do you think, Bruno?
I thought it was established last year that it was.
Well, we're coming up to the new year, so I think it's going to happen.
I think it's going to be hosted by Frank Jofo this year.
You know what? That'd be an honor.
Why not?
That'd be an honor. I have to talk to the brass at the Torture Chamber and everything, but
I think it was cool too because at Torture Chamber, there's not many segments like that.
Well, I tell you the truth, I think the only people that actually have segments like that are Shane Pinto, and that's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
It's very much we get on with the storylines in a way match.
It shows that they have a lot of trust in you in that particular segment.
Definitely, I appreciate that they gave me the time. That could have been someone else's match, but instead they gave me the time to do that. So I do appreciate Dru and the management and for them to give me that time to do that. That's for sure.
What's next for Paolo Triassi? I know you have championships galore. Is it more championships? Is it wrestling in the States? Is it wrestling in Japan? What's next for Paolo Triassi in professional wrestling?
Look, 2024 was a big year. It was a year that I won not one but 2 championships. But we're just scratching the surface there. 2025, for me, it's all about defending these championships. And not only defending them anywhere, but where it makes sense. So start off, this is the Commonwealth Cruiserweight Championship. So if you take a closer look at this championship belt, it's the Commonwealth. So the Commonwealth were, countries that were once under the British Commonwealth and then they got their independence, but symbolically.
That speech you did with
remember
the scroll
that.
and everything.
You were paying attention, right?
Exactly.
It wasn't all fun.
Exactly.
Yeah. It wasn't all fun and games. It was actually
there was no lies being told.
You learned something, right?
Yeah, exactly. I actually did learn a lot actually from that.
So did I. And defended obviously in Canada. There's actually talks planning a European tour.
Oh wow. Nice.
Looking like February. I'm in talks with Northern Ireland Pro Wrestling to defend it there. It's one of the countries, part of the United Kingdom. While I'm there, I'm in talks actually with the AIWF. It's a federation based in Italy.
Okay.
They run shows out of Rome and central Italy.
Wow.
So talks at the same time there. It's mid-February to do a combination of Ireland-Italy tour defending this championship belt. And then maybe latter part of the year, hey, if we could plan in Australia, New Zealand, that would be the ultimate goal for me, to defend this championship in all the Commonwealth countries. That would be
you just have to retire after that. There's nothing else to prove. And
I respect all the champions that came before me who held this championship. They all did an amazing job. But to my knowledge, I don't think any of them defended them anywhere but Canada.
That's
so so that would make sense to me because it's not just a Cruiserweight Championship, it's a Commonwealth Cruiserweight Championship. So for me, it would just make sense to defend it in the countries that it represents. And for the AIWF International Championship, the beauty about the AIWF, it's been around a long time and it has, I think, over 100 promotions under its umbrella, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So that's the beauty of it. So and because it's an international championship, well, the same kind of concept, right? Sure, I'll defend it here in Quebec, no problem, anytime, anywhere, if there's, an opponent lined up. But if I could defend it internationally, all the better. I know for a fact the weekend of March 1st, 2nd in North Carolina, they're having a 32nd annual anniversary shows. It's a 2-day event, so Saturday, Sunday, and I'm defending it both nights, Saturday and Sunday. I still don't know against who. It's whoever the committee decides.
Doesn't really matter.
But so yeah, that's for sure lined up for that.
Yeah.
And that's the plan. And look, any other opportunities come up, any other federations think they could call me up. I could be an asset to their promotion. They could use me to bring people in, be entertaining. Anyway, I could, like I said, be an asset to them. Why not? I could go there, maybe win a 3rd championship. It's gonna get a bit heavy there.
Sorry, I might have to be. I might have to help you hold these.
I might have to hire you to just come around and hold the championships, but
yeah,
why not? So yeah, that's the plan. defend these championships locally, internationally, and open to anywhere else.
Is there somebody that you want to face, that you want to fight in Torture Chamber in the future? Is there someone that you have like a...
Well, I'm disappointed that the last show in November had to get canceled for, reasons that were out of our control, but I was lined up to face Justin Turnbull.
Yeah.
And I was looking forward to that. Justin Turnbull, another incredible performer.
He was the number one contender, if I'm not mistaken.
He was.
Your title, eh?
The thing with Justin is that he was the champion right before the pandemic.
Okay.
So he got, the title got vacated. And he never actually lost the championship. And I know he was a bit bitter about that, a bit upset about that. And it's just the way it happened. It was, out of everybody's control a bit. And I don't blame Torture Chamber management either. They had a decision to make they vacated all the titles, not just his.
Yeah.
So, the tag team, the heavyweight. And so when he had come back to Torture Chamber, I know that was his number one goal, obviously, right? Something gets taken away from you that you never lost. I don't blame him. I'd want to get...
It was a surprise to see him back.
I was surprised too. He actually, I think he came back the day of the Appreciation Day in March.
Yes, he was Bjorg's tag team partner.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, I was happy to see him back.
Yeah.
I always respected Justin in the ring, talented. He's another one of those guys that comes out to talk about reactions.
Yeah.
Whether people know him or not.
Well, he got a reaction and a half.
He always gets a reaction.
Partner for Bjorg, yeah.
I remember Justin's, I think it was maybe his first match or one of his first matches. I was there on that show too. This was a while back. And just coming out, he has that energy and he got that reaction from the crowd and he has that intensity to him. And, just like me, he's not a super big guy, but when he does fight, he has a presence, I must admit. And always liked watching him perform. I faced him at least once before. And, it was good to be in the ring with him. Very intense. You got to be on your toes with Justin. That's for sure. Kind of like when you're in the ring with Victor, that caliber.
Suicide Jesus for a reason. He's all over the place, man. And that's something that'd be a great match.
I remember it was that one of his first matches, and Dru telling him or telling everybody in general, okay, no outside dives, be careful, don't kill yourself, nothing outside the ring.
Yeah.
And before you know it, you have Justin right jumping off the apron onto the barricade and he almost killed himself, but that's him. That's what makes him who he is. That's why he's fun to watch.
That'd be a great match for you and him.
I hope it could get rescheduled. I really hope it could get rescheduled.
Is there any news about any events coming up for Torture Chamber, or you have to keep that hush hush? Or
nothing I could really speak about yet. I mean, there are shows lined up for 2025, but nothing official yet. We just have to wait and see.
Ian Harrison, he calls himself the top prospect now. Going back to that match when you had that three-way. Just to put the record to bed. Everyone said that was the match that broke your...
Hold on, put the record to bed. I can't let that one slide. I know I'm behind the scenes and everything.
I think that's gonna be his last glass of wine.
You want to set the record straight.
Okay, to set the record straight.
Put the record to bed. That's good.
This wine's good. To set the record straight. They said that was the match that killed your winning streak. Now, can you set the record straight? What happened in that match?
Okay, let's rewind, Frank. Let's rewind to the event prior to that.
Yes,
it was Paolo Triassi versus Ian Harrison 1-on-1, right?
Yes.
And who decided to stick his nose in my business and be the referee?
He basically took your idea and
took my idea, but
to run with it and
unofficially.
Yeah.
You ever see Jonny Taco ref? He's not a ref.
I've never seen him ref, and I guarantee you he doesn't have his papers. That's for sure.
But I wanted to give the people what they wanted because I could have just left the ring.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not a ref. I don't want to fight with this guy reffing my match. But okay, let's give the people what they wanted. Yeah. They want to see Ian Harrison against Paolo Triassi. I still went along for the match. And who won? Let's put that on record.
Who won, Bruno?
Who won, Bruno? Beat Ian Harrison 1-on-1?
Exactly.
1, 2, 3.
Exactly.
Paolo Triassi. And Ian, hey, I remember training with Ian at Torture Chamber, at the school, before he even had his first match, and looking at this guy and saying, before even the top prospect, name came out, this guy's got it. He's got it. He's another one of those guys on that list that 5 years down the line, maybe 10, he's going to be on television somewhere. That's for sure.
He's getting into his body now. Like he's getting like some girth now. Like he's getting some like fucking. He's building into his.
And he's still so young.
That's what's scary. Crazy. That's what's
scary. But it's amazing that he's so good, so young. He has a natural talent to him. He's another one of those guys where he comes out and whether he's face or heel, he just that people pay attention to him. And he's talented. He could do things in that ring. But going back to that match, I beat him.
Yep.
And then the triple threat match came out. Johnny Taco, Paolo Triassi, Ian Harrison.
I don't think that was, and I always said that wasn't fair to Triassi.
No, that wasn't
because
fair.
That wasn't fair to you because it was basically it was a triple threat match,
right.
But it was
watch the first
2-on-1 match.
Watch the first 2 minutes of that match. They double teamed on me.
Unbelievable. And Brandon, and I'll never forget Brandon smiling in the ring there, like I thought he was going to jump in too. I go,
might as well, right? Just jump in, Brandon.
Might as well.
I guess he has some integrity, Brandon. So at least I'll give him that. He didn't do that.
But just to say,
I still think in 2022 there was a conspiracy against Paolo Triassi. I kept getting reactions.
People wanted you to fail,
but yet management didn't want me to succeed. So it's like, okay, well, what can we put in front of him? What can we put in front of him? Let's put him in the triple threat match, and go back and watch the match. Whose shoulders are on the mat?
Yane's. And Paulo's.
No.
Paulo's. Johnny Taco.
Johnny Taco shoulders are on the match.
Yes.
let's put the record to bed. Let's put the record to bed.
Yeah.
Taco's shoulders are on the mat. Yane went on top of him.
Yeah.
I got on top of Taco. Taco's pin. Now, triple threat rules say, if you don't get the pin, well, technically you're considered the loser. No. I was on top of the person getting pinned. So you want to call Yane the winner, that's fine.
You could clarify that.
You want to call me the winner, that's fine. But I did not lose that match. That's for sure.
So Paolo Triassi, what's I know I've asked you this before, but what's the next big thing for Paolo Triassi? What can we expect from you in the coming months here for the end of 2024, going into 2025?
December, I decided to just take it easy. Enjoy the fruits of my labor. It was a hard year.
It was.
I mean, do championships just fall from the sky, Frank? They don't. They don't fall. They don't fall on your shoulders. No. I worked my ass off to get these 2 championships, to win these 2 championships. I'm proud to be these champions. And I don't want to be that champion where, I have these title belts, but I'm not going to defend them. No. They're going to be defended in 25. Hopefully, I take that back. I will win a 3rd championship in 2025.
Ooh, I like that.
So December, take it easy. Kick it back. Enjoy a glass of wine.
Bicchiere di vino.
Bicchiere di vino. Keep training. Work hard. Play hard. Get mentally and physically ready for 2025. That's the plan for December.
I like that. Yeah. Now, just to wind it down here, I know that we might be around the same age there, but were you a guy that used to go out back in the day, like the downtown scene, the dome scene, the Vatican scene, the extreme scene? What
kind of a question is that?
What scene were you?
What's my nickname, Frank?
The Rockstar.
What's my nickname?
What was your club of choice back then? What was your club of choice back then? That's what I was trying to go for.
First club I've ever been to in Montreal? Foreplay. Remember that place?
Foreplay.
On Saint Laurent.
I don't remember that one. You yeah.
Foreplay, and it was on the Saint Laurent Mont Royal. Then it became a Mac Bar after that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and actually I was underage, and it was my prom night, and you have a friend who knows somebody they could get you in. So we're 15, 17-year-olds all going in the club, and I remember let's get a tray of shots of vodka lime. Sure, let's go for it. And before you know it, it's
bottle here,
bottle there, and there was L'Action. I'm sure you've heard of L'Action.
That was Laval, no, East.
No, it was East End. Yeah.
I remember L'Action. Fuck, that's a throwback, man. It's Sunday nights or something.
Sunday nights, exactly.
Beside
in the
Milano's.
Summer.
Was it near Milano's?
Not far from there.
Yeah. I remember. Fuck, I forgot it existed.
Yeah.
That's a throwback.
Yeah. Well, Bruno, you were a bartender at most of these places, so I'm sure you served.
No, I bartended at the Dome.
Well,
at the Dome.
Yeah.
So the only times we would go out officially would be on the off nights. So that's why Laxio, I remembered it was something about Sunday nights. It was the night I could go out. Sunday.
It was like industry night.
Yeah, and then close to it was Millennium. Or what was it?
That was another East End club.
Yeah, it was close by Millennium. Yeah, but I forgot it existed. Fuzzy Laval.
Fuzzy Laval was a classic too. That was Thursday night.
Yeah,
$2 Molson Dries. That was it.
Yeah,
you'd go there and people would have the case of beer on the bar for a big $48, and it was like you felt like a big shot. You're like, wow, this is amazing. Yeah.
Oh man.
But didn't you work at Buonanotte? Or no?
Buonanotte. I used to work at Buonanotte, Cavalli's.
Okay, the high end clubs. You were high end.
Wood 35.
Wow.
Yeah. I used to work in the kitchen.
Okay.
But then I was able to stay after and drink and
that's cool.
and enjoy the fruits of the wine and the Jack Daniels that they had on tap there, you know. But those were the good old days. Fuck.
By the way, I take that back. Foreplay did not become the Mac Bar after. Sorry, Foreplay was on St. Lawrence and Sherbrooke. What I'm talking about was Central Station.
Ooh,
Central Station. That became Mac Bar. Yeah.
Central Station. Fuck.
Yeah.
That's fucking,
That was it.
Yeah. Those are the good old days, fuck.
Yeah. And then there was Mumba's Laval.
Yeah.
That was another good one.
We didn't go that far.
You didn't go that far.
We didn't go that far.
LaSalle to Laval.
Downtown was the far, as far as we went. Metro rides, that's it. The Laval didn't. But winding down.
Well, let's turn this around a bit. Let's turn this around. Let me ask some questions now.
Go for it.
How long have you been doing this podcast?
Us. It's been what, 4 or 5 years?
2019. I think it was late 2019. We started this
right before the pandemic.
Because we started the Jofo, the original, in early 2019, I believe. And then we started doing a couple of episodes about wrestling. And then we spun off the Jofo in the ring.
And
I think it's like officially it was like late 2019, right before COVID and
February, March, right before COVID.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, I've been a wrestling fan all my life. I was my favorite wrestler, believe it or not, was the Brooklyn Brawler. I was going to say the Villemard Brawler, the Brooklyn Brawler. And I called myself the Villemard Brawler when I had a wrestling fed in high school.
That's amazing.
We did a big event, 350 people in the gym. We weren't allowed to make money off it. So I said, okay, I want the most amount of people to be able to attend this. They said, "Oh, you have to give something back to the school." So we were graduating. I said, "Okay." We already had like our graduation set, and we already had the money down packed. I talked to the girl, and she said, "Oh, we don't need anything, don't worry." But I go, "We have to charge something." So I go, "Okay, I'm going to charge 50 cents a ticket, so just to get the most people possible." 350 people. We got after school. Didn't have a ring. It wasn't a ring. It was like volleyball nets with mats and like pieces of wood to make a mimic of a wrestling ring, and we had a battle royal, and I was called the Villemard Brawler with the music and everything, and everybody else I was the only made up wrestler, basically. Villemard Brawler, Brooklyn Brawler, whatever, but everyone was like The Rock, Stone Cold, Undertaker.
These were all your fellow students?
All my fellow students and friends to this day. And 20 years later, I end up interviewing the Brooklyn Brawler and telling him this story, and he freaked out. He's like, "Why were you my fan? Why did you like me?" Because at first I liked New York, so I liked Brooklyn, obviously, because I'm a New York Ranger fan. Hate the Canadians. I'm not a big Canadians fan. As we could see now, not being a Canadians fan is probably the best thing right now. And I liked Brooklyn Brawler because he elevated these wrestlers. He was always known as a jobber, the guy that always lost, but he made these wrestlers. When he went down the list, he goes, "I fought The Rock, Mark Henry." The list goes on. And all these wrestlers are either in the Hall of Fame or are going to be in the Hall of Fame in the future. And so it's like, it gave me more of a respect for the Brooklyn Brawler. And to this day, like he follows me on Twitter and everything. We talk, and I have his phone number, and we talk sometimes. And
amazing that it came like full circle. That
it's crazy, man. It's crazy. And people
like he follows you on
on social media. And I would have said this when I was a kid. I would never believed it. And even some of my friends to this day still won't believe it. And I'm gonna have to show them, like, look, I interviewed him and everything. I didn't interview him personally because I was working on a boat on the steamships at the time. So Jeremy Prophet and our other co-host Kyle Morin interviewed him. But just to say that I got him on the show, I couldn't be there that day. I was in Toronto that day.
Okay.
So I couldn't. But just to say that just goes to show. And then independent wrestling is what we like too. That's why we got attracted to Torture Chamber.
Was that more recently, like also in 2019, or you always liked independent
wrestling? We always liked independent wrestling. I was friends with Sexy Eddies and the Jeremy Prophets and the Green Phantoms, Phantom has been on our show too as well. Like these intricate guys in the independent wrestling scene here that put people on the map, you know what I mean? Like the IWSs too, like as much as a lot of people say a lot of stuff about the IWS, I do too, but there's guys that I love in that federation, and just goes to show like guys like Sexy Eddie have made people who they are today in professional wrestling, like the Kevin Owens and the Sami Zayn. So it's pretty cool, man. And having you here, bringing a nice bouteille de vin and, and seeing these titles here and finally meeting the guy behind the scenes, it's amazing.
I guess to wrap up your monologue is like this is our way to add something, a footstep, like a footprint, I should say, in the history of wrestling in the future. In Montreal, in Montreal, like we don't know who might make it, who may not, but at least we're creating moments that are online that, if some guys don't make it where they wish to make it in the future, at least they'll look back on a time. We have a bunch of content on our channel. Like I always say, like even if nothing happens with it, we look back on these times and like, remember that, this was fun. Like, so, creating our moments. And then like we were talking, guys like Mustafa, guys like yourself, guys like Victor, that day that we do see them like on AEW or WWE, or so a big storyline comes out that Victor did something in New Japan, or what I mean? It will be like, we had that guy here in our studio. We were one of the first people to interview him, and just to have like our piece of the wrestling history, because the nostalgia from back in the day.
So you know what that means? That means you have to make AEW and WWE very soon, so we could say we had Paolo Triassi in studio, face to face with MJF. I would love to see that.
I don't think they would be face to face. It'd be more like Paolo.
I think they'd be partners. Yeah,
they would be having a good ripping up the town.
I think they'd be partners.
I want to ask Paolo. You have, despite some ways and tactics that you do in matches on commentary, I can never shy away from the fact that you do have some incredible athleticism, and so I and a lot of fans like, what is your sports background? Like, what sports were you into growing up? And
come on, he's doing your job for you.
That's why Bruno's the best.
Growing up, soccer was big. Obviously, I think like a lot of people who grew
Italians,
up in, exactly, soccer.
We're all Italians, yeah.
I did karate actually.
Really?
For about 10 years. Kyokushin karate.
Wow.
And I attained my brown belt black stripe.
Okay.
And then decided to
use the fuck out of me.
So before you get the black belt, you have the brown belt.
Okay.
And then before you get to the black, you have the black stripe. So it's like right before.
Okay.
And then for one reason or another, I decided I had enough of karate.
That's enough of that.
And so, those are my two main athletic backgrounds, say competitive soccer, intercity, and karate. And then, backyard basement wrestling since I was like 6-7 years old. That's
I'm already picturing in my head a Paolo Triassi karate exhibition segment on Torture Chamber. The pieces of wood and all that.
No, my basement, like my house was like the place where say all my friends would get together. That was like the get together on weekends, put on like wrestling shows, like we even have like a cameraman, like storylines, like that whole thing. And
it's crazy that my birthday is the exact same day as Vince McMahon's.
Really?
August 24th. I was born in 1983, and everyone used to call me Vinnie Mac in high school. And I was the one that, okay, we have to set up this match. And how it started with the whole event is we used to fight at lunchtime in like this little grass area that we had, that everyone used to eat. And then everyone, like the last 15, 20 minutes before you go to class, everyone's outside and they're like, oh, Frank, let's see a match. So my good buddy, Danny Malazzi, Big Show, shout out to him, Pizza Frankie's. We used to wrestle like crazy. And every single lunch we used to wrestle, and people were like, "Why don't you put an event on together?" And that's slowly,
you were that
slowly.
guy. Like
I was that guy, and then I'm like, okay, now I'm just not gonna have one match. I told myself, let me do a battle royal. It was a Royal Rumble, and we had a match before, and everybody wanted to see us in an official match. So it was the Brooklyn Villemard Brawler, because I was from Villemard, the VE Brawler versus the Big Show. The loser ended up coming in. Number 1, and the winner came in number 25. I ended up getting the help from DX. And DX helped me win the match, so I came in 25. He was number 1. He ended up winning the
number 1
the Royal Rumble from number 1, eliminating me at the end, kind of thing. So it was kind of a full circle thing, and yeah.
And did you ever think of getting into wrestling? Like,
I wanted to, but at the time, this is the year 2000, so it was like,
yeah.
I was even talking to Sexy Eddie about it, and I'm like, it wasn't as easy as it was now.
You're right.
It was like, I was trying to like look at like little federations that were around there. I don't even remember what their names were. And I don't even think IWS was invented. I think it was just getting invented.
I only started going to IWS with Jeremy, I think, our first year out of high school.
Yeah.
That's when we didn't even really know it was a thing.
Well, because Eddie, him and Nick Patterson and Manny, they invented it at Dawson College. And the year after, I was in Dawson College too, and I didn't see it happen or something. Maybe I just,
no, was it Nick or was it his brother? Wasn't it his brother?
Nick Patterson.
No, Nick is the current owner of MEW.
Yeah, Mike Patterson.
Wasn't Mike part of the?
No,
IWS?
Mike Patterson is the comedian.
Yeah, but he was just
yeah.
Okay, I thought he was part of the
yeah,
history.
he was a manager for Jeremy at the time.
Okay.
Yeah. So to the point where it wasn't as
accessible before.
No,
it's not like even now you could go online and let me look for wrestling schools.
Yeah.
Like,
so there was a fed that was going around in Montreal, and I'm like, I want to be involved. Like we have this fed. It was called the LWF, LaSalle Wrestling Federation, and I said, okay, I go, we want to invade your federation, and he's like, okay, it's like take like 4 or 5 guys and come to a show, and stick in the stands, and we'll do some kind of angle, So I'm like, and then I literally asked 25 of my friends. I go, anyone want to come? And nobody wanted to come. Maybe like 2 or 3 guys. They wanted to be wrestlers, but they're like, I don't think it's good for me anymore. They didn't even want to, like, to the point where they had their shirts off before. And now they're getting like, we're all getting fat now. And like, okay, I got to put a t-shirt on. I don't want to have to do that anymore. So it never panned out. So
you'll take a bump.
I'll take a bump. Yeah,
take a manager.
I might need some assistance in a match.
Hey, Paolo, you know what? You tell me you need me in your corner, I'm always there for you, my friend. That's
Good to hear. Good to hear.
That's for sure.
There's still true friends.
That's for sure. That's for sure. So winding down here, Paolo, tell us.
Wait, before plugs, I want to know, Paolo, what instruments do you play?
Oh.
Wouldn't you like to know, Bruno? Wouldn't you like to know? I'm one of those rare artists, that you give me any instrument, and I'll create magic.
That's a good answer.
That's it.
Everyone always asks me that. I don't know why.
Was that an inside job, insider question?
If you read my bio, Bruno, it's a professional wrestler living the life of a rock star. So do your homework next time, okay?
I get it. All
right.
So if somebody wants to be a fan of Paolo Triassi, and if they're not, shame on them, where can they find you on social media to become a fan of Paolo Triassi?
Paolo.Triassi on Instagram and Paolo Triassi Rockstar on Facebook. Follow me there. See where you could see my next match, watch some prior matches, YouTube, whole bunch of matches on YouTube. Definitely on Jofo on the Ring. He has a bunch of content, Paolo Triassi. And that's about it.
To start a playlist of Paolo Triassi's greatest hits, I think. I think we'll get some big views for that, Bruno.
Yeah,
jot that down.
I'll jot it down the production for the next production meeting.
Well, Paolo, it's been an honor to have you here, and I'm sure it won't be the last. I want to thank you for bringing this exquisite bottle of wine that's getting me a little bit tipsy here tonight, and just having you here and getting to know the person behind the scenes is a great. It's great for me to know that, and hopefully it won't be the last. And
no.
Good luck to you. I know you're not going to need it, but good luck to you in 2025. And we're going to be behind you. I know I will be behind you. I don't know about Bruno, but I will be behind you 110%.
He's back and forth, Bruno.
He's getting there.
He's getting there.
Yeah. You can't deny championship titles here, so you're going to have to come to to this side here very soon, Bruno. But I'm always on your side, and Jofo in the ring is always the door is always open for you, my friend.
Thank you, Frank. I appreciate the support since day one. Happy to be here, and I will definitely be back.
And I still want to know who that guy was with that sign, because I still want to talk to that guy.
We're gonna find him.
I'm gonna find you. And on top of that, my name is Frank Jofo. Follow us on social media, Jofo in the Ring, on all social media platforms: YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, TikTok as well. Follow us there. Follow this gentleman on his journey to more championships in 2025. And remember, wrestling is life.